Hello everybody and welcome to today's video where we take a look at the exam report for the November 2020 AQA English Language GCSE Paper 2 and see what tips it gives us to do well in this paper in the future. Starting off with question 1, and it's shocking to see that only 10% of students achieved the full 4 out of 4 in this question. Now if you've watched my animated video on question 1, you'll know it's not quite as easy as paper 1 question 1, but what's surprising is that the exam board have said there was no particular pattern to the types of errors made by students. So it's not like there was one really difficult statement that everyone messed up on. A lot of it seemed to come down to rushing the question and not reading closely. Now I'm not going to give you the exact example because you might end up sitting this paper for your mock, but imagine the text read, "There were nearly 500 people at the event," and one of the statements was, "There were more than 500 people at the event." Lots of people chose this as being true, but it's not. We need to see that whilst the two sentences are about 500 people, one says there were more than and the other says there were less than. Now, I don't think this was about students not understanding what the words meant. I think students rushed the question, seeing a few of the words as the same and not reading closely. So for question 1, don't rush. Read sentence by sentence and check your answers at the end. As with paper 1, you can spend 5 minutes on question 1, so there's no need to rush. In question 2, there was a common error of writing about the wrong people. Let's imagine source A was about the writer, Jane, and her boss, Joanne, and source B was about the writer, Mo, and his boss, Cal. And the question asked for a summary of differences between the two bosses, Joanne and Cal. Well, many students failed to distinguish between the writers and their bosses, and so ended up writing points about the wrong people, about Jane and Mo. One simple tip to help here was pointed out in the exam report, and that was to always read the introduction in the text box before reading the extract, as there is frequently contextualizing information to help orientate students in advance of reading an unseen text. That little introductory text box will help you work out who is who as you're reading. Another piece of advice is to practice reading non-fiction texts which contain multiple people in them and see if you can work out which points are about which person. Question 3 is the language analysis question, and the main issue was students finding and naming language features but not commenting on why the writer had used them. Now the assessment objective for question 2 refers to the use of relevant subject terminology, and this seems to have led some students to approach the question as if it's all about feature spotting, looking out for similes and metaphors, personification, that kind of thing. The key to this question, though, is to be specific about the effects the writer's language choices have, or explain a reason behind the writer's choices. Your comments have to be specific to the text, they need to be precise and contextualized to the extract. One way to do this is to read the extract and ask yourself, what is the specific effect that the writer is trying to achieve? It could be to reveal a key characteristic of a person, such as dominance or confidence, excitability or enthusiasm, or it could be to present a feeling about an experience, such as intimidation or vulnerability. It really could be anything, so you need to reread the lines carefully and not just look for language to write about, but to think about the effect. In question 4, it seems a number of students were able to identify the perspectives of the writers, but failed to comment on the writer's methods. This is bullet point 2, and it's so important. There are really 2 distinct parts to this question. Number 1, students have to demonstrate an understanding of ideas and attitudes in both texts, comparing those ideas and attitudes. And number 2, students have to compare the methods used to show these attitudes. One simple way to look at the question is like this. Step 1, what are the attitudes? Step 2, what methods are used to present those attitudes? And step 3, analyse why those methods are used. And finally on to question 5, and the main point is about a line of argument. Some students struggled to combine the points they made into a single identifiable argument. Now this is a 40-mark question, so you can spend 5 minutes planning your answer and look to present a coherent line of argument throughout rather than just a jumble of isolated points. I hope you found this video useful. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel.